Rightio, let's get into the kitchen, courtesy of our friends at Russell Hobbs, and that's also courtesy of our other friend, Chef MLK. Martin Cobalt, hello to you on this Sunday. Nice to have you with us again.
Good morning, Jeremy. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Listen, I just wanted to ask you, before we get into the cooking part of it, because you people,
Yes.
if you don't know, Martin is in Austria. He sort of flits between there and here. Yeah, but there are a few places. I know that the German club in Johannesburg. I know that the Bryanston Sports Club in Johannesburg as well have got
Okay.
posters up for Oktoberfest. Obviously,
Oh, wow.
they're starting to look at these now because of the lifting of certain restrictions. So you can have more people at an outdoor or an indoor venue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I suppose that's the reason why. But when is the real Oktoberfest supposed to be celebrated?
Well, the real Oktoberfest, yes, celebrated in October in Europe because that's like autumn time. So it's between the seasons. So that's what we've been for years, for centuries already, where they celebrated Oktoberfest and Oktoberfest, like the national beer festivals. When the harvest comes in of the hops and they're producing the new beer, so that's when they're launching it for the winter season. Then, so that's where always the beer festivals happened in Europe. The German beer fest in Germany, in Munich, the one world famous ones, with millions of people going there normally annually. It's normally happening from mid-September to about mid-October. It's a whole month of festival. But as you most probably know, last year it was cancelled due to the pandemic. And this year they also decided to actually cancel it because, it's still a risk. And it takes a hell of a long time to organize a big event like this where literally a couple of million people come to, and they didn't want to wait, so they decided already sort of in the first quarter of this year to cancel the German beer fest in Munich, because if they would have waited for any longer, it would have been not possible to organize such a great event. But the hearsay is that next year, definitely, Munich Beer Fest, the Wiesn, is definitely going to happen again. So let's just hope and pray. But yeah, this is the time of the year for Beer Fest. It's the time of the year for beer, for pretzels, for Weisswurst, for all these beautiful pork roasts and just lederhosen and dirndls and fun. That's what it is. Yeah, I
Maybe
can't
if it
wait.
happens, maybe if it happens next year, we should bring Mansfield Today over there and do our broadcasts from there for a week. It could be
There's an idea.
dangerous. It could be
It
dangerous.
could be very dangerous.
Yeah. As you can see on the ticker tape, a wonderful package, courtesy of Russell Hobbs, up for grabs on Mansfield Today. All you need to do is subscribe to Mansfield Today, to our YouTube site, and you could be the winner of that magnificent package from Russell Hobbs, including a whole load of stuff. And Chef MLK will be announcing that winner on the 7th of November, right here on The Cooking Show on Mansfield Today. Right, Chefski, slow cooked chili meatballs. I saw this
Yeah,
recipe,
boy.
or the title of the recipe come through, and I thought, oh, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's definitely something you can prepare, and the slow cooking method is such a great way of cooking, specifically like meatballs on any secondary cuts, because it's that's what it is. The slow cooking, it's like even if you got like a very very tough piece of meat, like a chuck or whatever, and you use that Russell Hobbs slow cooker, it's just like of it. Yes, it takes a while, but that's why it's called slow cooking. But it will be just like butter. It's just beautiful. So a secondary cut, which is fairly cheap to get in the shops, you will get a first class meal out of that, and that's I think what's important. So that's why I chose as the slow cooked chili meatballs, which you can make in a normal conventional pot. But if you just take mince, mince also needs time to cook, so the meatballs get nice and tender. So I prefer to use the Russell Hobbs slow cooker and do my chili meatballs inside there, because then again, after 1 hour, they will come out like butterballs, if you want to call them, so slow cooked chili butterballs. so I put a fairly simple recipe together. So if I may just like go through it quickly. So you take about 1 kilo of fresh beef mince. You can also use a mixed mince if you're happy to do like a beef and a pork. mince. So you make your meatballs, you add your spices to your meatballs, run it up nicely, mold your balls, and then just put it aside. You take a tablespoon of olive oil, 1 onion diced, 2 garlic cloves, freshly chopped, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, about 2.5 to 3 cups of beef stock, 1 cup of chili sauce, depending on how hot you want it. If you use mild one, if it was mild, I also use a chili sauce and add a couple of chili flakes to it, just to give it a bit more spice. I love it spicy, as everybody knows. Then 3 tomatoes, whole tomatoes, you dice them, or you can also use some canned peeled tomatoes if you like a little bit on the lazy side. But there's nothing wrong with the canned peeled tomatoes. And about 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese then for later on, just to gratinate it. So all you basically do, you take out your Russell Hobbs slow cooker pot, you switch it on over medium heat, and then put your oil inside there and add the garlic, add your onions, just until it's nice and translucent. Then you toss in your meatballs and you just stir them slowly. But just be careful that you obviously don't make like a bolognese sauce now out of the meatballs. Just make sure that the balls stay intact. So just turn them nicely so you brown them in the oil where you got your onions and your tomato paste and everything in there. And then you add your beef stock and let it simmer for about 30 minutes. Then you add your tomatoes and your chili sauce, and then cover the pot with a glass lid, and you let it simmer on low heat for about an hour. And then at the end, you just take the lid off, you drizzle the cheese over, the Parmesan cheese, and then you either serve it straight in the pot, or you take it out there and you just serve it on a plate. So I love it. If you just take like a bowl of fresh pasta, some tagliatelle or some penne, and you serve that with your pasta, I think it's just an awesome meal. And you will see the difference between the meatballs cooked in a slow cooker and the meatballs cooked in a conventional pot. It's just, as I said earlier, like butter balls, and that's what it's all about the slow cooking process. It's just so awesome.
And also the other nice thing is, which is what I always try my hardest to do, is to use as few utensils in the kitchen as possible to make a meal. And this is one of the ideal ways of doing that as well.
Absolutely. And it looks quite attractive as well. So it will definitely give a great enhancement on your table counter in your kitchen. So it's a nice piece of equipment, beautiful appliance, and it's so versatile. You can do so much in it. I mean, hundreds of recipes you could just practice with it.
You know what we haven't done for quite a while, Chef, and maybe we should look at doing something like this again, is we haven't done a soup. And you love soups. You adore
soup every day.
Yeah.
Every day I eat the soup. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
so
I promise next time I'm going to do it.
Let's do a soup next week, okay?
Perfect. 100%.
Lovely.
Great.
And that recipe will be up on the chefmlk.co.za website just after the show today. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Chef MLK, and thank you to our friends at Russell Hobbs for being the proud sponsors of The Cooking Show right here on Mansfield Today. Nice to have you with us, and happy cooking until next Sunday. Bye-bye.